Ahoy, scallywags, and welcome back. So, we got some new dragons, and that means that we have some new dragons to hatch today. First one being this beautiful little blue circusy boy. Genuinely, Circus Dragon is one of my favourites, probably like top 10 these days. So, the Circus Dragon likes the limelight more than anything. If you need a quick performance to cheer up your baby dragons, just take them to the Circus Dragon. And he is a wind, plant, and fire epic dragon. But isn't that cute? They're saying basically take your little babies over to see this guy do his own little performance. And the thing that I love about the Circus Dragon more than anything, well, you know, it's weird enough to begin with, but I love the fact that the ball on his tail is the same size as his head. Have you ever noticed that with this dragon? I don't know. I'll show you in a second anyway. But secondly, we do have the Pike Dragon. So both of these dragons were, of course, the rewards from the Dragon's Delight event that we just had. And it was the first ever successful, fully successful Dragon's Delight event that we've ever had. So a complex system of tubes grow from the Pike Dragon's body. This trainer has yet to learn their use, but listening closely, you can hear fluid travelling through them. That's kind of ominous, the fact that we are yet to learn their use. Do they have a use apart from stopping the dragon from dying? I don't even want to know the answer. Again, sometimes just don't ask questions if you don't actually want to know the answers to them. But that is number 455, so about 480, 490-ish dragons on both of our accounts. So we're getting close to that, well, technically 500 mark between both of them. But it's kind of hard to keep track when you've got two separate accounts with different dragons and stuff going on. But anyway, we've got little Irin here, and oh, I love him so much. Look at the ball. Look at the ball. It is like, I would say 70 to 80% of the size of his brain, like head shape. You can only imagine it must be really heavy in comparison to the rest of his body, although he has a literal circus tent in the middle of his body, so maybe not. Maybe he's just very, very heavy. I don't know. I'm here to ask the real questions, but only the questions that I do not require answers to. You know, there we go. But thing that I also like is the fact that he's like my favourite colour in the world. Like green or light, like greeny blues or light blues. Mwah, bellissimo. The Pike Dragon, on the other hand, is sort of like a diabolical alien creation, and I would say he's probably not in my favourite 200 dragons that exist. He's kind of like got a gigantic bald head, but I don't know, it's the eye, I think. I think it's just everything about this dragon just is really weird and reminds me of Mr. Droid Dragon. Oh, and one thing that I also dislike about this dragon is the fact that, you see the pipes, they don't look 3D, or the like little, the valves, the valvies that you turn, they look like a 2D picture plastered on top of him rather than looking like they're 3D. No, why do I have to think about these things? I just get so distracted by the weirdest things. It's like, wait a second, that doesn't look 3D, and I don't know, it just takes me out of it. So either way, he is a literal joke to me. Joke is a joke to me. And we do have the solo event stuff to be doing for Funny Feathers with 8 days and 16 hours left. We have not yet gotten the Banana Dragon. Gonna be honest with you, with the Funny Feathers event, I have not been on it very often, as in, I have not been logging in every hour to 2 hours so far for these initial resets, because I can't be bothered. And I wanted to do this as an example of what you shouldn't do for this solo event, because did you see what happened there? You see how we got a 14-hour, 23-minute timer? I want to put this out there as a proper reminder why you shouldn't breed these two dragons if they're enchanted, and you should make sure every single time that they're not, because for the breeding quests, it's important that you can do them nice and quickly, especially in some of the later tiers. But if you're breeding together an enchanted fire and an enchanted wind, you have the chance of getting that leopard dragon, which is what I just bred there. Again, this is only to make a point and to remind you not to do it. Yes, it will hold me back in the event, but I don't plan on logging in for that amount of time after this anyway, so it is not a big deal for me to, you know, use it as a demonstration. But just remember that the breeding stuff is really important. If you don't have an unenchanted fire dragon, go and buy one. Just go and buy a second fire dragon, put it in another fire habitat. only breed that one instead. You don't need a super high level random fire dragon enchanted to just do breeding quests for the solo events and stuff like that. So, take that as my warning, heed it, and use it wisely, my friend. And in terms of the Endless Dungeon, as you can see, we're doing it again, trying to get our quests done. I'm incredibly bored of it already. I think they need to tone down the cost of that final chest. Like, I think they really need to tone down the cost of the final chest, because all of the other chests have been opened, and now the only one left to open is that final chest. And I've been opening only that final chest for like 4 days now, and it is just not very interesting. It's just not. I've been like stacking up the points for like 3 days, and it's like the old dungeon, how it was really repetitive, except it doesn't feel like you're achieving anything unless you actually open up that 2,000 cost chest. And getting to 2,000 stepping stones, especially depending on the kind of team that you have and the dragons that you have, sometimes can take days of resets. Because the main problem is the ones, or the quests that come up quite a lot are the quests that are like, oh, defeat a dragon with a weak attack, or you've got the quests that are defeat 3 dragons with a single blow X amount of times. And I don't know if anyone's really mentioned it yet, but it means that if you don't have a dragon with an AoE attack, either, you know, fire or light or energy, if it hits all 3, then you literally can't do that quest. You literally cannot do that quest and complete it. I don't know why they have such obscure quests, probably to make it, you know, more difficult to get points, so that it costs more money if we want to spend our way through. But the quests as they are at the moment are just really not very fun at all. And if they're not those ones, it's get 40 regular hits. Okay, I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that one too much. Just performing normal hits is probably the nicest one out of all of them. Especially since you can do it with any dragons, even super low level ones that maybe aren't on your main roster. But I don't know, it's like Endless Dungeon could have been fun in concept. I don't know how we could have made it any different. And sure, I'm sure we'll get changes to it in future. Again, they've said before it's the first iteration of the dungeon. Things can change over time. I'm sure they will, and I hope they will. But just as it is right now, it's just not particularly interesting already, and it's only been out less than a week. In fact, we're getting the new one tomorrow, the new Bottomless Dungeon Dragon. I'm not even going to get the Doomsday at this rate, because every single time I open a chest, the chest has like 150 dungeon tokens in it, which means you stack up 2,000 stepping stones for the sake of 150 dungeon tokens, and that's all that you do for like a day. And it just feels really, really bad. Really bad. Obviously, if you get the special dragon, feels pretty good. But when you get all the special dragons, what's going to happen after that point? Then you'll just be like, oh, I'm just grinding dungeon tokens, opening this purple chest 15 times and only getting 100 dungeon tokens every time for it. It just doesn't feel very right. It just doesn't feel very fun. And, I don't know. That's my own opinion, though. Of course, yours may differ. You may love the new dungeon. I've seen a lot of people complaining about it. But not particularly my thing. And plus, a lot of people have brought up the point that why are we doing quests that sort of ask you to perform in the game worse? Because rather than the quests sort of promoting good play, as in they go, you know, get perfect hits or use strong attacks and things like that, all of it's like use weak attacks, use AoE attacks. I don't really like it when they sort of limit what dragons you can use and what elements you're allowed to use to like complete a quest. That's what I don't really like. But anyway, we're over the 1,000 mark. Let's open the chest again. What do we get? Third time opening it. 150 dungeon tokens. What did I say? I knew it was going to happen. It's always 150 or something like that. And then we just keep opening up again and again and again. Oh boy, I can't deal with this anymore. I cannot deal with this. Even for the cheapest dragon, we can't afford it yet. Not even close. To be fair, I did... a lot of the chests that I opened up, I did buy the stepping stones, or I took the stepping stones instead of dungeon tokens, and I don't think I'm going to do that in future, because getting to the final chest actually doesn't really help at all. And this gem deal is tempting, you know, 75 dungeon tokens for 10 gems, because you can get 20 gems out of that for 150, which isn't bad, but if you were given an equivalent offer in the chest anyway for either gems or the dungeon tokens, it'd probably work out, you know, around about the same. But I think that is going to do me for now. So, thank you for joining me.